The liabilities. What are liabilities? Liabilities represent every time a company owes. They are the company's debts and financial commitments to other people, companies, or banks. In simple words, they show what the business has to pay in the future. Liability groups in the Colombian PUC, Plan Único de Cuentas. Group 21, financial obligations. This group includes debts the company has with banks or other financial institutions. These are usually loans or credits. 2105, national banks. Loans from banks within Colombia. 2110, foreign banks. Loans from banks located abroad. 2115, obligation with domestic financial institutions, debts with Colombian financial entities other than banks. 2120, foreign financial obligations, debts with foreign financial institutions. Group 22, suppliers. This group records the company's debts to suppliers, people or business that provide goods or service on credits. 2205, domestic suppliers, debts with suppliers in Colombia. 2210, foreign suppliers, debts with suppliers from other countries. 2215, commercial checking accounts, amount owed to suppliers of goods or service with whom a contract is held.
The liability account in the Colombia book includes all company debts. Group 26 records labor obligation, suits as salaries and social contributions. 2006 and the 5 salaries by represents wages and salaries owing to employees for service already rendered. Group 27 records taxes other amount owing to the government. For example, 2007 and the 5 income tax payable represents the income tax liability of the company pending payment.
Hello, my name is Gina Gutierrez, and today I am here to talk to you about account number 23 of the liability called accounts payable. Includes obligation incurred by the economic entity in favor of third parties for the concept of the suppliers and financial obligations such as commercial current accounts to parent company, to relate companies, to contractors, purchase orders to be used, costs and expenses to be paid, facilities to be paid. Official creditors, royalties to be paid, dividends with shareholders or partners, dividends or participation to be paid, withholding and sources prior, withholdings and contributions, installments to be returned, and miscellaneous creditors. Below account number 2305, commercial current accounts, record the amount owed by the economic entity to third parties for concepts other than suppliers and financial obligations and with which a current account contract is maintained under the terms established in current legal regulation. Continues with account number 2322, contractors, records the amount owed by the economic entity to third parties for the execution of works in accordance with the respective contracts. The next account is 2365, withholding tax, records the amount collected by the economic entity from taxpayers of legal parties of withholding taxes in favor of the National Tax Administration by virtue of the collector status that current legal provisions have imposed on economic entities as a consequence of the normal course of business, goods, activities, and operations are subject to tax. The next account is 24, taxes, levies, and fees. Includes the value of general and mandatory taxes in favor of the states and charged to the economic entity for the concept of calculation based on private settlements on the respective tax bases generated in the fiscal period. The next account is 2404, income and complementary taxes. Records the outstanding amount in income and complementary taxes for the respective fiscal year, as well as the amounts from previous years subject to official review and any outstanding balance, less advance and withholding paid for the corresponding periods. Also includes the amount of special contributions and other surcharges that must be paid for the incoming tax. The next is 2408, sales tax payable. Records both the value collected or incurred and the value paid for incurred in the acquisition or sales of goods produced, imported, and marketed, as well as service provided and or received taxes in accordance with current tax regulation, which may generate a balance in favor or against the economic entity as a result of the different transactions, since it is a current account. Continue with 2412, industry and commerce. Records the amount owed for the tax established on industrial, commercial, and service activities in favor of each of the districts and municipalities where they are carried out, according to the private settlement. The next is 2424, valuations. Records the value of the tax rates for which the economic entity is responsible, either in the development of its operation of for owning real estate located in the respective sectors subject to the lives in accordance with current tax regulation. The next group is 25, labor obligations. Includes the value of the liabilities owed by the economic entity to workers, former workers, or beneficiaries arising by virtue of legal regulation, labor conventions, or collective agreements, such as salaries payable, consolidated severance pay, service bonus, extra legal benefits, and labor compensation. The next account is 2505, wages payable. Records the amount payable to workers arising from employment relationship, such as salaries, comprehensive salary, daily wages, overtime and surcharges, commissions, travel expenses, disabilities, and transportation subsidy. Continuing with account 2510, consolidate severance paid. Records the value of the economic entity obligation to age of its employees for severance paid as a result of the right adquirence in accordance with current legal provision and existing labor agreements. The final calculation must be determined at the close of the respective accounting period once the corresponding adjustments have been made in accordance with the provision estimate during the fiscal year. The next account is 2532, pensions payable. Records the amount payable to pensioners whose obligation for this concept is the responsibility of the economy entity.
28 is the one that groups together a company obligation that don't fit into other liability categories such as advances, deposit, withholding, judicial seizures, and joint accounts. Some accounts are 2805, advances and advances payments, are those that records the money that a company receives from its customers in advance for sales, contracts, or order agreements. 2810, deposit receipt. These are the funds a company receives from other parties to guarantee the fulfillment of obligations, such as deposit for contract services or to purchase shares. 2815, income received for third parties irresponsible. For record the money that a company received of behalf of other people or entities, and that must be returned or transferred at later time. 29. They are the securities issued by a company organization to obtain financing bond and long-term instruments, while commercial paper is short-term and is primarily used to finance working capital. The accounts found in this group are 29.5. Bond in circulation is the one that records the nominal value of the bonds that a company last used to obtain financing. 2910, bond mandatorily convertible into shares is the one that records a value of the obligation that a company accrues when issued a bond that must be paid by delivering free shares instead of cash. Our conclusions are: 1. Liabilities are essential to understand a company's financial positions. 2. They show how much the company owes and to whom. 3. They also help evaluate the company's ability to meet its financial obligations. Thank you.